A boy stands alone in the forest. No teacher. No royal lineage. Only hunger. He creates a guru from clay and teaches himself to become the greatest archer India has ever known. Then his real guru asks for his thumb. And he gives it. Why would a master archer surrender his greatest gift? This is the story of Eklavya, born into the Nishada tribe during the age of the Mahabharata. The Kuru kingdom of Hastinapura thrived under the guidance of Dronacharya, the supreme archery master. Dronacharya had trained princes since childhood, molding them into warriors. But there was one rule in his ashram: he accepted only royal students. Birth determined destiny. Caste determined worth. The Nishadas, forest dwellers and hunters, were considered outside the sacred order. For Eklavya, the doors to formal education were sealed before he was born. But Eklavya's hunger for archery could not be denied by walls or rejection. He ventured into the Khandava forest, away from villages, away from society's judgment. There, he gathered clay and sculpted an idol of Dronacharya, the man who had turned him away. Every dawn, Eklavya stood before this clay master and practiced. He whispered his intentions to the idol. He bowed before it as if it were the living guru himself. For years, he shot arrows in silence, in solitude, watched only by deer and forest winds. His hands grew strong. His aim grew sharper. His discipline grew absolute. No distractions. No royal politics. No social hierarchy. Only the bow and the target and the burning desire to be great. One day, Arjuna and the Pandava princes came hunting in the Khandava forest. A dog ran out from the trees and suddenly hundreds of arrows struck it. Not fatally. Precisely. Each arrow had pierced the dog's mouth without drawing blood. The Pandavas stood stunned. No one in the kingdom could shoot like this. When they searched for the archer, they found Eklavya. He emerged from the forest like a shadow given form. His clothes were simple. His bow was well worn. But his eyes held the mastery of 10,000 hours of solitary practice. Arjuna's confidence shattered in that moment. He had believed himself to be Dronacharya's greatest student. He had believed his royal birth guaranteed supremacy. Standing before Eklavya, both beliefs crumbled. Arjuna returned to Dronacharya and demanded answers. How could an untrained outsider surpass him? Dronacharya's face darkened. He understood immediately. The master traveled to the forest and confronted Eklavya. Who taught you? He asked. Eklavya bowed. You did, Gurudev. I learned from you. Dronacharya's next words changed everything. Then as my student, you owe me a Guru Dakshina, a gift of gratitude. Eklavya's hands trembled. I am ready, master. Ask. Dronacharya did not hesitate. Give me your right thumb. Without protest, Eklavya drew his dagger. In one motion, he severed his own thumb and placed it at his guru's feet. The greatest archer in history could no longer shoot. Yet Eklavya never returned to Dronacharya with anger or accusations. He never sought revenge. Instead, he retreated deeper into the forest, continuing to hunt, continuing to serve his people, his mastery now channeled into other forms of skill. Dronacharya had ensured that Arjuna would remain the supreme archer of the Kuru kingdom. The system had protected itself. Merit had been erased. And Eklavya had paid the price. 25 centuries later, Eklavya's story still burns. Not because it is ancient history, but because it speaks to something we see every day. How many Eklavyas sit in our villages today? How many brilliant minds are told their birth determines their ceiling? How many deserve opportunity but are denied it by systems that value inheritance over ability, bloodline over brilliance, belonging to the right group over bearing the right gifts? Eklavya's thumb reminds us that discrimination has always had a cost. Not for the discriminator. For the discriminated. The real tragedy is not that he lost his thumb. It is that the world never knew what he could have built with both hands. In honoring Eklavya, we must ask ourselves, who are we turning away? Whose clay idols are we creating because we refuse to see them? How many thumbs are we asking people to surrender because we fear their excellence? If this story stirred your soul, if the battles of Bharat echo in your heart, subscribe to our channel. More stories await. Stories of warriors who challenged systems. Stories of sages who questioned power. Stories that are your inheritance. Join us.